Hello fellow Hattrickers, and welcome to the first Hattrick Gala, an award ceremony to celebrate our skilled managers, our admired community members, and to remember the most memorable moments of the past season. We will present 6 awards today. 3 of the winners have been chosen by the community by means of a vote in the Global English Forum, while the other 3 are purely based on statistics. So, let's start with the first award of the evening, the Dream Team of the Season. A whole lineup consisting of 1 goalkeeper, 2 wing-backs, 2 central defenders, 2 inner midfielders, 2 wingers, and 2 forwards. The ones who got the best rating last season in their positions. And the Dream Team of the Season is... on goal, Kelvin Fortress Labastide. As wing-backs we have Alex Dillon and Mark Hennessy. In the center of the defense, Angelo Setti and Jonathan Meyer. As inner midfielders, Grzegorz Spösch and Pars Nasir. In the wings, Kurt Reindl and Argenis Ataque Blanco. And in attack, Claudesir Lima Paiva and Israel Weinstock. That is a nice team indeed. Look at all these stars. Congratulations to the players and to their managers, who will receive 2,500 reward points each. So that's the first part of the Hattrick Gala. We have 6 awards, and we'll show them like little by little, because otherwise the video would be very long. And of course, I have with me Tasos and Johan. No introduction needed. And what are we going to do today, guys, besides the gala?
Well, I think that's our main topic. We're going to celebrate these fantastic people that we have in the community. So we have the awards, and we have the champagne, and we're going to have some fun.
I don't have any champagne. I've been too busy.
I just came for the drinks. I don't know about you guys. I heard that there will be drinks.
Okay, so is everybody ready for that? Looking forward to that? And at the moment, the comments are really like, yeah, suits, nice. But, is everyone expecting any award here? Well, I see one that we all know that he had an award. We will see after that. So maybe, shall we go for the second video then?
Yes, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. So the second video is this one. Now let's proceed to the next award, the Match of the Season. Out of the 5 amazing matches in the voting phase, with an incredible 43.2% of the votes, the Hattrick users chose this season's America Cup final, Canada 4, Argentina 3. A real roller coaster between 2 incredible national teams at their peak. The match with the highest hat stats ever. Congratulations to both countries, and especially to their national team coaches, Chufafisk and Hastalavictoria, who will receive 5,000 reward points each. Congratulations as well to their staff and to all the managers who contributed to the huge success of these 2 national teams. Wow. Any Argentinians in the house? Any Canadians in the house?
Do we have a surprise guest?
We have a surprise guest. Hastalavictoria.
Hey guys.
And
thanks for this opportunity.
How does it feel to win an award for something that you lost, actually?
Oh well, and let's polemize a little bit. I lost against an Italian, so I lost 2 times against an Italian.
Oh.
Stargard in the first one, in the manager of the season, and this time against Cuchifo. So yeah, I do come from an Italian family. You do know that most of the Argentinians, we are Italians that speak Spanish. So it's like everything stays at home. That's pretty funny. But happily, we have had
I think we kind of
the HT-Tasos record, which was a really good how do we say, a really great threshold for us, for the Argentinian community, and that's what we are celebrating right now.
And I guess you would have preferred to win with another of the matches that was in the list that's nominated, right? The World Cup, which actually has two things that are amazing, which are, first of all, the run that took, you got there from, like, I think it was 27 won matches and only one draw and one lost match, right?
Exactly. So that was the best strike in the NT in the modern era, not taking into account when Sweden and Johan was managing the Sweden NT, and they won five World Cups in a row. But besides that, yeah, it has been the most effective run in the NT era. So, and the most important thing at all, and I do think that Johan is a fan from him. He will feel pretty fond of it. Is that the Apache entered at the 89 minutes. So an 84 years old player going into the final of the World Cup was a really landmark in HT. Nonetheless, we knew as Argentinian community that it will be pretty hard for that match to win this gala, because a lot of both Canadians, yeah, for sure, it was sure, but mostly Brazilians. I have seen a lot of Brazilians going after this match when Argentina lost. So yeah, that was a pretty stretch opportunity, but we are happy no matter what.
Well, typical rivalry, South American rivalry.
Well, but I won't say it's a rivalry. We have been beating them for a long time, but yeah, okay, we understand that.
Come on, let's hear the Brazilians. What do you have to say here? And Johan, so how come Sweden won 5 World Cups? I mean, there were like 4 countries at the time. I know Sweden was, like, of course, the biggest country at that time because they had more seasons. And I remember at the beginning, there were like, I don't know, 5 countries, then a little bit more, but...
No, but the first 3 years of Hattrick, there was only Sweden, right? So of course there was a 10-season advantage in terms of developing players. So when we opened the other leagues, I think there were 8 leagues in the first international Hattrick, and all of those became good quite quickly, but they couldn't catch up. They got boosted players and so on, but we couldn't just nerf the existing players too much. So we had a good run there, early 2000s. I didn't manage the NT, I promise you. But yeah, we can still compete. Yeah.
There is that big story about that final against Norway. I do have memory for a lot of details. My wife hate me for that because I can't remember what to buy at the night, but I remember a lot of things of Hattrick and football as general. But I do remember that final against Norway, when there is a goal at the last minute, something a little bit strange at that time because there were no extra time. So I do remember that, and that was the final World Cup that Sweden won. It was such a story back then, wasn't it, Joe?
Yes. No, of course. I mean, the Norwegians, they had their theories about us having a secret button. But I would take the secret to my grave,
So we don't care about the finale with Denmark. There was like an anecdote with that, wasn't it?
Well, the first national team match in Hattrick was actually against Denmark, but that was like in '98 or something. It was still like just a test that Björn did, and he used cloned teams, so it was exactly the same players on both sides. But that I don't know if we never beat them, met them in the World Cup final. I don't think.
I will here like to point out a couple of comments. Well, first of all, a support comment for Hastalavictoria, campeón del mundo, viejo aguante. Hastalavictoria for president. I don't know, president of what? Argentina?
No, president of Argentina, no, please, no.
Too much trouble, right? Too much trouble. And there's another one also that it's a question for you. I think it's easy. Ronaldo or Messi? I mean, come on.
I would say Maradona, Messi, and the rest significantly below that.
Still Maradona?
No, exactly. The only relevant question is Maradona or Messi, I think. And I would answer the same as you.
Yeah. I'm slightly young. I'm 36 years old, so I didn't see him play. I'm not saying that you're old, Johan. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think Diego at its peak, Diego was better than Messi. Nonetheless, Messi trajectory for 20 years is remarkable, But at their peak, yeah, I do think that Diego was better.
And what about that? Maradona.
That's a good one.
That's a big one.
I would say it is the triad. I don't know how to say it in English. The triple, something like that.
Treble.
I will put them at the same level. Oh, let me take something. I will use this space to do something that we cannot did with our language administrators. We want to change the names of our cups with these three guys: Maradona, Messi, and the Apache. So maybe you will have some pushback about that, both Chase and Johan.
Okay, noted.
Okay.
And I saw another thing that actually for all of us, let me see if I can find it, because I mean everyone is writing now and I kind of miss it, but it was this one. An idea for the shop now that we're all suited up. A Hattrick tie with the website background. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't know if many people would buy it, because who wears a tie?
Exactly, that's the problem. But no, maybe like one of these, like ugly Christmas sweater, in that same category. So you could have a Hattrick tie for when you don't really want to wear a tie. No, but it could be fun. Okay, so let's think about it for when we. I would definitely. I mean, I would finally learn how to tie a tie if there was a Hattrick tie, I guess. So yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so let's see maybe the third award. Let's do it. The next award we will present is the Best Historical Mentor. As you probably know, we have many mentors who help new users have a better understanding of the game. After the mentoring period is over, the new users can rate their mentors. And we have a leaderboard on the website. So we would like to award the leader of this table the Best Historical Mentor prize, worth 25,000 reward points. And the winner is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 from Romania, who has mentored 234 users with an astonishing average of 4.9 out of 5 stars. Congratulations, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is the third award for mentors, which is, of course, a statistical award in the sense that we already had the results and everybody could see the results before that because we have this leadership board. I think we should do something about mentoring. What do you think, guys? I mean, our 3 teams are...
So, Johan just started a team in Tahiti. I really want to restart my main team, like my primary team, and you are looking for where you are going to start an additional team. So we are in the best position to start from scratch. So why don't you ask one of the top mentors to mentor us and see how this will be? And we have a Twitch every week about it. So we choose someone, but the point is we cannot do it all of the three. So who is going to do that?
Maybe we should have a poll on Instagram, for instance. Yeah,
sure.
We can open a poll on Instagram and put our 3 names, and people will choose who they prefer to be mentored. I think that's
who do you want to be schooled on Twitch?
And actually, maybe it would be who needs it more as well. I mean, everybody can vote for the reason that they prefer. And we would also need mentors. So if anyone wants to mentor any of us, so we accept offers, of course. And I guess if they do it properly, we will rate them well. Okay, so maybe we should go and see the 4th award of the night. As all of you know, one of the best things about Hattrick is its community. And besides the Best Historical Mentor Award, we also have the Community Hero Award. We have loads and loads of community heroes all around the world, all of them deserving of the award. But we can only have one winner, who will get 25,000 reward points. And the most voted community hero in the first Hattrick Gala, with 33.2% of the votes, is the creator of an outstanding video series on YouTube, the most bookmarked user in the forums, the owner of the Cycle Training Federation, with more than 1,600 members, the one and only Papa Mish. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's incredible to win this award. I actually wore a suit for my first YouTube video and I was quite nervous. Today, I'm more of a surprise that I still fit my wedding suit. I want to thank Johan and the HT team for creating such a wonderful game. Chase, in a short time, you bring so many great projects, including this HT Gala, and you're a great addition to the HT team. I want to mention and thank all the other great nominees. Nick, the Masters wouldn't be the same without your global thread, and the stats and data behind it is just fantastic. LA Alpa, I can't thank you enough for organizing all the information in the unwritten manual and specialty editorials. I used both for years. Opa Yomar, the homegrown competition you created within HTAL gives meaning to so many managers. I really enjoyed your interview on Twitch, and you show that you could play and create at any age, and I intend to do just that. Tell us, the HT mini you created got me hooked for weeks, and you are the godfather of CHPP, and one of the nicest people I know in Hattrick. Thank you all, you are what make this game special. I've been playing Hattrick for almost 13 years, and I still find excitement, challenge and comfort in this game. I love the community and the wonderful people I got to know along the way. The vibrant life on the forums and federations, the real-life meetings and the friendships that extend beyond the game. I had a full table of Hattrick guests at my wedding. All this is what helped me up to explore my artistic side and create content on YouTube and Twitch, which I'm grateful people enjoy. I want to thank Lena, my wife, who supports me in anything I do, and our amazing children, who gives me hope and meaning. I want to thank my friends and supporters. I wouldn't be here without you. I still have a lot to achieve, create and explore. Our journey continues. Thank you all. Hattrick, it's more than a game. It's a community.
Thank you, Papa Mish. And thanks to all the nominated managers as well, especially the finalists, Opa Yomar, Nicorana, LA Alpa, and CHPP Tellis. As Papa Mish just said, you will do amazing things for the community, and we're really thankful for that. what an amazing community we have. And actually, not only the ones I mentioned, because here I can see that, like, following this stream, we not only have LA Alpa, CHPP Teles, we also have Antonio Chacota, Fabri Chape. They were all nominated for this award, and it was a shame that we could not include all of them. But I would really like to thank them all for the huge service they do to the community. And I see there are lots of questions and petitions, I would say, for not only the ties, but the hoodies, bikinis, anything Hattrick related. I wouldn't buy a bikini, but maybe I'm thinking about it. And the tie, why not? The tie would be something that we could add.
You cannot buy the bikini for a present.
Yeah, yes, it's true. I didn't think of that. Thank you. There was a question before that I guess we all know the reply, but I would like to highlight it if I find it, because everyone is writing and it's great. Here it is. Taking advantage of the fact that Johan is here, I have a question. Would there be a possibility of real-life players appearing in Hattrick? It means paying the image rights to be able to use real players with the real characteristics in Hattrick. So, what do you say, Johan?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very, very much against the concept of Hattrick, and I mean, like, it's been like one of these things that has, like, you know, in a way was a disadvantage for Hattrick, but I think in the long run has been an advantage of Hattrick, because everything that is created in Hattrick is our own, and it's like a game world that fits together and has integrity. You know, it's like what happens in Hattrick stays in Hattrick, and so I don't think it fits very well to introduce real world players. I think we have to separate the two.
And what about this? Maybe Tasos can reply to that. Would we ever have a double specialty player?
Well, I don't know if we will, but it is something we can consider. I mean, it has been suggested quite a lot. But if we ever do that, that needs to come with a big overhaul of how specialties works right now. I mean, something more dynamic, even more specialties than we have now. But yeah, something we can consider.
We have played with the idea of being able to train for a specialty, or like acquire specialties in different ways. So, like, I mean, I have to stress that it's absolutely only something that we brainstorm about. But maybe, you know, that would have to happen if we would have double. I just wanted to say about the stream today. I think we have a record of viewers. I've never seen over 300 you know, live. So cheers also for that. Cheers everyone for coming.
Yeah, we have 2 awards to present, and maybe it would be also a good time now to say that if you guys have any questions about, let's say, Hattrick Arena, for instance, or the amazing new icons that we have that some people don't like, but we love, just questions, especially questions, then feel free to type them while we see the next video, which is this one. Now, let's present the 5th award of the evening. In this case, it's not an award for the past season, but for the past year. The top 10 CHPP apps of 2023, to reward the external tools that enhance the Hattrick experience that were most used last year. Their creators will get 1 year platinum, a great reward for them to be able to keep developing their amazing apps and extensions. And the winners are Hattrick Portal Tracker, Foxtrick, Hattrick Youth Club, Rate My Academy, Hattrick Organizer, Hattrick Portal, Mechatrick, Romanian NT U20 tracker, French scouting group and more, and Sistema Integral de la Selección Uruguaya, SISU. Congratulations to all of them and to all the CHPP developers for their outstanding work.
Nice. Amen. Amen to that.
We can actually ask as well if any of you, or I guess many of you, use CHPPs. Which ones do you use? Would be nice to know here as well. They'll probably match with the stats that we have. And more questions, maybe not related to Hattrick Arena, and it's been asked quite a lot, but let's reply it again. When will we have access to the fourth team? Everybody wants a fourth team.
Yeah, we seem to have this question every stream.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say what I said last time. That it's not something that we have ruled out, and I mean, like, the reason that we don't have unlimited teams is because we don't want people to be overwhelmed with, you know, Hattrick. It's supposed to be a game that you can play, you know, and still have a life. But of course, if people really want a fourth team, in the end we can provide that. And I think it might happen this year, but well, as usual, I don't wanna get ahead of our release communications. So let's say we're waiting for a good opportunity to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's another question. Okay. Maybe this one for Tasos. Can we get an update for training? Please, we need to train, for example, defenders for the full team and not 5 players per game. That's another recurring question. What can we say about it? We cannot hear you.
Yeah, sorry, too much drink already. What I want to say is that Hattrick is kind of linked to the idea that you train positions, and it's also linked to the actual match, so the minutes that the player was on the field. But for those that are already on backstage, it is like training discussion is already in the to-do list, and they can find it. There is a thread with pending, like upcoming discussions, and training will be there. So if someone wants to give feedback around that, then keep the eyes open, join us on backstage, and yeah, share your ideas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that something will happen. We don't know yet. It's still here, but we are going to find that. Mm-hmm. Will be.
Okay, another question for Johan. How was Hattrick born? Did you ever thought of giving up on the idea?
Yeah, well, Hattrick was born in the summer of '97, and it was the original creator was called Björn Holmér, and he was a web developer that had some extra time on his hands, so he decided to see if it was possible to do one of these. Like in the '80s, we were playing play by post mail, so that you would send in your orders on a form. You would fill out the form, and then you would send it usually to England by post, and then they would simulate the orders in a PC that they had at home, and then they would send out the results by post. So like every 2 weeks you could interact with the game, and I actually played that myself when I was a teenager, and he liked that. So he wanted to try it on the web. I mean, like in '97, you could almost do nothing on the web in terms of games. It was really bad. So Hattrick was pretty amazing when it came. So I did not create it. I just played it as a user and got super in love with it. And then I convinced Björn to become partners with me, and then we found Daniel, which is the third partner, who's the main developer, has been all this time. So have I ever thought of giving up on it? No, I haven't really. First few years were super hard, but I was young and stupid and didn't have any family, or so I didn't have any life, so I could spend as much time as I wanted on working. And then it's just, I mean, it's been tough times for sure in between, but it's not, I mean, not in the way that you would think of giving it up. Maybe like giving more responsibility to someone else and change your own role and so on, but not pulling the plug. No. I think I kind of like have given up on the idea of doing something else in my life. So I think both me and Daniel kind of expect to retire as Hattrick on the Hattrick team. And I've said this many times, and I don't know if it's funny or not, but my long-term strategy in Hattrick is to be the last user, so then I can win everything. But no one, people don't seem to be quitting, so I'm gonna have to wait.
We're not quitting. How many hours did you spend when you were at the beginning of the project, per day or per week? Was it really crazy?
I mean, it was crazy because I was working as a freelance journalist, and I mean I had to work, like at least a normal full-time job to support myself, and then the rest of the time, even at some point I also was a full-time student and working on Hattrick. So I mean, there was at least 5-6 years when I was working all the time, basically. But I mean, it was fun, it's just different when you're that age. So I just felt lucky that I had something that I enjoyed doing, and it's much more fun than going to a job where you have a boss that, but I can't work that hard anymore. It's like at a certain point you just physically unable to not sleep, right? But hopefully you replace that with experience instead, so you can be a little more efficient when you do work.
Okay, we have one comment that I want to highlight, because yeah, we've seen that in the top CHPP app list. We have Hattrick Portal and Hattrick Portal Tracker, and they have the same creator. So we should reward the 11th developer. We haven't thought of. I mean, that wasn't something that we needed to decide now for the stream. No. But what we really wanted to show is that both CHPP apps were in the list. So we will see what we do with the 11th. Could be fair.
Maybe.
There's a lot of people saying something about nationalizing players.
Yeah,
the idea of nationalizing players could be considered so that they can play in a national team. Ooh. What do you think about that?
It's something that I mentioned many times. I like the idea. I mean, imagine that a youth player from a big league, Germany or something, and he ends up in a small league and he gets trained, and then he can, after a certain amount of seasons, change nationality, just like in real life, if he hasn't been picked for the national team of his original country. I think that's what the question is about. I raised it a few times, but I was getting like pushback that it was not, fair or whatever, and it would, boost the small countries too much or so. I don't know if it's. I mean, it's not something that we really went deep to think about, but I kind of like these things that are like role playing, like someone invested a lot of time in a player, and if he could make a difference on a certain national team, why not? I mean, but maybe it would open up, some kind of exploits or cheating, or I don't know. So maybe we would need to think more about it. But from a storytelling point of view, I like it. I don't know what you think, Tasos, but we have briefly discussed it, I think, a few times, but never seriously.
Yeah, from a story perspective, if we make sure that cannot be used with a cheating purposes or give a huge advantage to some countries and disadvantage in other countries, then as an idea, it's really nice. I mean, we really need to dig deeper and find out those kind of possible loopholes. And if there isn't any, then why not?
Yeah. There is one good comment here from Manuel Guedes. He's saying that what would happen is that the big countries would cannibalize the small ones. So I imagine that the best youth players from the small leagues would be bought by big teams, and then they would be lost. But I guess if that national team selects them in the first few years, then they would be linked to the original national team, so they could never switch then. So I think there is ways to avoid that. It would be more like the edge players that might be forgotten in a big league, and but they could still make a difference in a small league.
Or dual nationality could fix some of those issues. If you don't steal the nationality of another league and you just like give the second nationality, then that's probably not be a big issue. But yeah, still something we need to consider. But yeah, as an idea, it's really nice.
Okay, another question, maybe for Tasos, about technical players. Is there anything?
Well, what kind of love do you want? I mean, we get this kind of comments because some players with technical specialty were too powerful and now they are not. So users feels that they lost all that power they had. But I don't think they are useless or dead. They just used on situations that are supposed to. Of course, we can, there is one comment, are often used to play counterattack. And I agree with LA Alpha. They used to be too powerful before. Now they have been kind of equalized. I agree that they are not, maybe they're less powerful than other specialties. But I wouldn't say that they are dead. And yes, we can see some love sometime.
We have another interesting question from Labelas. Have you thought about doing a documentary film about Hattrick? Should we call Netflix?
No, I don't. I haven't really thought about that. I mean, we thought about doing a book. I think this is probably because I'm a writer, so for me it's much more natural to think about writing something and then doing a film. If someone came to us wanting to do a film, maybe we would consider it. But no, we haven't really thought about it. But I mean, there's a story there, so that it could be interesting. I think if it was the right person wanting to do it. Yeah.
There's this question as well, more or less related. Do you have some news from former HTs, Bjorn, Eken, Anne?
Well, I have. I wouldn't say. I know that Chechen works for King, the big mobile game developer who's owned by Electronic Arts now, and he's a product manager there, I think. It's a few years since I met him. Björn, I have not. I mean, for a long time, I kind of I called Björn and I briefed him on important stuff that has happened in Hattrick, like every few years. But he's a very private person, and he's. He didn't wanna. The reason that he wanted to leave is because he didn't want to be in the focus. I think that was one of the main reasons. So he's not so good at keeping in touch with me as I was with keeping in touch with him. And eventually you stop reaching out. So it was quite a long time since I talked to him. But I would. would be very happy to talk to him again. But now I think he's as far as I know, he's fine. Anne, haven't talked to her either for quite some time, but I follow her on social media, so I know more or less what's going on there as well. I think he's working in marketing also.
Okay, shall we see the last award and then we'll keep on replying to questions? So, the last award of the Hattrick Gala. And finally, the last award of the day, the Manager of the Season. And after a thrilling voting phase in the Global English Forum, we finally have a winner with 39.2% of the votes, who will get 25,000 reward points. The Hattrick Masters champion with his second team, Horda Valor da Cuba, the only one to win the biggest club trophy in the game with 2 different teams. From Italy, Zagor Tenay.
Thank you. I'm very proud for this victory, and I'm very happy to have won the Hattrick Masters with my second team, Horda Valor da Cuba, after I won it some years ago with Horda Valor da Urbino. But I hope that the victory in the Hattrick Gala is also due to my brilliant path with Estonia in the European Cup. We have missed the medal only for 1 minute in the quarterfinals with Serbia. I want to thank for this victory Sabrina. She's the woman of my life, and I have to thank her for her patience in standing a trick, standing the time I spend on the trick, and more of all, the time I spend on a trick on Friday night when Estonia is playing and I'm totally freezed in front of the monitor. I want to give a big kiss to my children. They are the light of my life, the source of of everything for me. I say hello to Hastalavictoria. He arrived second, and probably he deserved this victory as much as I do, almost as much as I do. A big thank to HT-Chase for organizing the gala, and a real big thank to Hattrick for existing, because it's the game of my life since a lot of time. It has brought me a lot of friends, fame, and so I want to say really a big thanks. Of course, I say thank you to all the managers that vote for me, and that's all. Ciao a tutti. Forza Horda Valor and Forza Estonia. HT.
Congratulations, Zagor. We would like to congratulate as well all the other nominated managers, especially the finalists Hastalavictoria, K-Select, Dude 3011, and Joachim 321. You all achieved amazing feats this season. And I would like to thank once again every single one of you who voted and gave your support to the first Hattrick Gala ever. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Okay, so that was the last award of the Hattrick Gala, and I will upload this full video all together, the 11 minutes video on YouTube pretty soon. So in case you want to see it just without any cuts, you will be able to. As we could see, Zagor tonight mentioned Hastalavictoria, so maybe we could have him back. Hi, Tom.
Hi, guys. I first have to say I don't believe in hat-trick democracy. No, just so. No, he's a really legend of the game. As we were speaking in the global forum, I will have to win the HTM with my Argentinian team, so I can also have 2 of it. And I said to him that he doesn't have the World Cup, the NT World Cup. So Messi started winning golden balls after Ronaldo. So I still have time to win a little bit more of this.
I really liked when he said that you deserved to have the award, and then he said, well, you almost deserve to have the award as much as you did. So I think he thinks he's the worthy winner.
Of course he is. Yeah. he's a real legend of the game. Yes.
Yeah, he is. I mean, having two amazing teams and bring them both to win the Hattrick Masters. And well, I think everyone
we have some work to do there to replicate that, I think. But look at it, we're gonna be here for a long time, so maybe we can still do it.
Yeah, true. Okay, so maybe
we are going after the triple with Argentina, so maybe we have something there that will beat Sargor.
Yeah. But that's a good. I was wanting to ask you, Roger, what is like the expectation here of the gala going forward? Is this going to happen every season? Is we are going to have the same awards every season, or what do you think?
It's a good question. Actually, I would like it to go every season if it's not too much work, which I still have to see. But I think it's okay. I mean, it's doable. We could add some awards, not many, because that would really increase the amount of work. But if anyone has any suggestion for more awards for the next season or the following seasons, I'm open. We're all open to let's see, consider them. And yeah, why not? I mean, I have to see the reaction of the people. It seems that, yeah, they like the gala, especially those who won. Which is that's the guys that say, oh, thank you for the gala, but I like to see those that are here in our comments if you really like the gala or you think it's just for the winning players and winning managers. So let's see more questions, because we have a lot of questions that I keep like highlighting them, and they go like from almost 20 minutes before that.
Yeah, just mention one question. I can take it after, but they are talking about the hidden vote, that it would be a nice thing for the gala awards, and I agree. So it would be nice if we could do that. Maybe, I don't know if we can do it for the next gala, but eventually I think that has to happen, right? Because it makes it much more interesting to not know who won.
Yeah, we could do that. Yes, definitely. Okay, so will it be possible to sell players from the youth academy, I guess, to another youth academy in the future? I guess it means that in such a way that the buyer holds him in divine loyalty as he was of his academy. That's a little bit difficult, I guess, to implement. Tasos, maybe?
Well, for that, we'll need a second transfer market just for youth. But yeah, I think we have mentioned that in the past, but I don't really remember if we have totally rejected the idea or we just never sit down to discuss it for real. So yeah, I don't see any big issue. Maybe when we decide to do a youth academy revamp, we can consider that.
And another question, I think this one is quite recurring for years, but match simulations, visual simulations, like 2D simulations of a goal, etc. What do we say about that?
You know, I think we started in a direction of adding some 3D, like, you know, like the perspective on the match page, like we started to go in some kind of 3D direction. And now I think we're probably moving away from it again, because when we have discussed design, I think it works better for Hattrick, the flat and the text-based design. But I could see 3D like for more for like cutscenes and animations of key events, rather than trying to, you know, simulate the game as a 3D, some kind of 3D engine, because it would be very it would be not be truthful to how the simulation works. It would be like we would need to fake it somehow, unless we really rewrite the simulation of the game. So that's why I don't think it's a very good direction for us. And I mean, it would be a huge project that would crowd out other better and more interesting things in Hattrick, I think. But I think there's still a lot we can do with the text, and like to make the text simulation more dynamic and interesting and cool, and how you present that text and how you present statistics, and do that in a live way, and so on and so on. So I think there's a lot we can do in the kind of live presentation, but I don't think it's gonna be, you know, 3D guys running around on the pitch kicking the ball. I don't see that right now, at least.
Okay. Before I highlight another question, since we have here Hastalavictoria, if you guys have any questions for him. I don't know if you have to leave soon or something, but
I do have to leave, guys. Really, okay. It was a really pleasure, and I feel really honored to hear. I am really happy to see that Sargor has no hair left in his head, so I still have that fight. Nah, just kidding. I really respect him. And Chase, thank you very much for this. I do think that there are always a few improvements that can be done, such as not showing the votes. But I really think it was really something really good, this gala for HT and its community. So thank you very much, guys, and a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Congrats
Thank you
again.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it's true. We actually talked about it, the hidden voting system. We couldn't do it because it's not implemented in the forum, but if we can implement it for not only for future galas, but generally for future polls,
yeah,
it's something that we have.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we have other cases that will be cool to have as an option. So yeah, something that will definitely happen. But yeah, if we do a seasonal gala, maybe not ready for the next gala, but maybe for the one after that.
Yeah. And actually, it would have been good as well for when we last voted for the World Cup host, because if you see really who's winning, and then there's another country that you want to help, then instead of voting for the one that you would have voted, so you may change your mind. And related to that, there's another question. That, yeah, it's true. In the past, I remember that the community would vote to choose the venue for the World Cup, and the community of the applicant countries made very entertaining, motivational videos. Is there any option for this modality to return? And when will Chile host the World Cup? This last part we don't know, but for the rest, could we think about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was like when we did it the first time, it was, yeah, we didn't really have the structure to maintain it in a good way. I think it was a little bit haphazard, and then we just didn't have the manpower to, you know, to organize it. So I think if we do it, I mean, something that I have long wanted to do is maybe like to make, I mean, because now the hosting is just, you know, it's just a line on the website, like it's hosted on and the stadiums that you chose. Maybe we could do something more fun around the fact that your league is hosting a World Cup, and then it could be make sense to introduce this again. But it's always nice to think in packages, like we do this, but we also do some other things. But it's not something that we have talked about. So yeah, of course it's possible, but I mean there has to be also people willing to to organize these hosting contest videos and so on. So
yeah, I'm sure people would do. And another question: in the future, will you extend Hattrick for other sports? I don't know if you have been asked that before, probably.
Yeah, many times. I mean, that was an idea, strategy that we had 15, 20 years ago. And that was in our very first business plan. What the idea was to build like a generic management engine and apply it to a lot of sports. And then, of course, football is the biggest in the world. And then Hattrick became much more successful than we could imagine. And then when we tried to do it with other sports, we realized that it's just the same amount of work to do a basketball game or a cricket game, but the amount of users is 1/20th of the people that is willing to play a football game. So for us it didn't make any sense at all to have other sports, and I don't think it does today either. I mean, the one thing that we have talked a lot about and that I would like to do in the future is female football, and that would be it's of course the same. It is the same sport, but it would be a new game world and maybe a game with like a different twist to Hattrick. But I don't think we're gonna do ice hockey or handball or anything like that.
Okay. No. Lots of questions, lots of very interesting questions. For instance, this one: will there be any commentary with sound option? Sometimes you don't have time for the game, but you could keep it in your ear.
Yeah, that's a question for you, Roger.
Yeah, actually, it's something that it's in my mind since the very beginning of my position here. I would like to do it. I would like to. It's a lot of work, but it's in my plans. So let's see. I cannot promise anything, not even when, not even if, but I will really definitely want to try that. It could be nice because it's like that. I mean, you have to be watching the screen for 90 minutes or you have notifications on. But if you have once in a while like sound, not only like a scream or a goal or a whistle, but just like someone telling you what's happening, it could be nice. But it's a lot of work to put that into audio. So we will see.
If I can comment something, Chase, that there is a phrase that I used to say in Global when someone asks about a feature. And I say, yeah, we might consider, but don't hold your breath. But seeing you and how much you want that, I could say they can hold their breath. And probably that's something that will come.
Yeah, but well, it's a lot of work anyway. I mean, now how many phrases or events, I would say, how many different events do we have? And I'm not talking about variations of events, just events. I mean, like 300, something like that. And we're talking about a language only. So
one language.
There are a couple of comments asking about AI speakers, and I just wanted to mention that last summer I was just trying to build an Alexa app that will have this live commentary. So I link it to CHPP API and let Alexa do the commentary. It was crap. You cannot do this with AI. If you want to have this excitement, you need Chase, not AI.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't thinking, not including me, but in the sense that we need that excitement, that thrilling voice telling you, oh, no, it's happening this and that. Not, and now we have this player on the left side of the field. I mean, that would be boring. So if we do it, I think we have to do it properly. So we will see. It will take time, but at least I want to try it. If I don't succeed, nobody will know. If you don't see it released in a couple of years, it's because I don't succeed. So more questions. This one, for instance, will man marking come one day in the national team under 21?
There was several seasons ago that we had a poll in national coaches forum and asked if they want to. The main problem that I see is that you don't know the lineup of the opponent. You don't know the squad. Anytime players can come and go. So you cannot really have that drop down that you choose the player. We need to have it with a free text that you just add the player ID. So that makes it a little bit of a guess game. Like the majority of national coaches back then decided that they don't want it. I don't say that that's final. We can consider doing that poll every like 3-4 years or X amount of seasons, and then we can consider it. But yeah, maybe it's time to do the poll again after we have the hidden votes.
And another one that you could also talk about is tweaking the long shots tactic still a long shot in your strategy, nice pun, or something that might happen soon?
Well, long shots per se, I think they have been in a really great level for competitive matches. They have been nerfed in the limit level that we wanted to. You can counter them. There is still a little bit overpowered in tournament, like arena matches. And this is something that we might work in the future. We don't have plans, but it's in my to-do list to consider. So yeah, I don't think it happened really soon, but maybe soonish.
Okay, now one question for Johan. Can you add gambling in the game? Let's say you make a list of matches and pay with game money to guess the score, I guess.
But if it's game money, yes, we could do it. I think we even have code for it. We have like built a function like that and just tested it a long time ago. So it's something we have talked about. Like something we talked about was to have a weekly Toto coupon, and then you could maybe bet some reward points or something like that, and then you could have a grand winner. But yeah, I'm not. I mean, in general, I'm not a big fan of gambling, and it would have to be like for the symbolic fun of it, like no big win, and absolutely no real money, because that is a nightmare. If as a company, if you're associated with gambling, things get very complicated. So it would be possible to do something for fun. Yes, it could be, for example, a way to create some buzz around national teams or masters, like to have some betting on that. But as usual, the answer is it's something we consider. It's not in the plan.
I can see now in the comments of the sound that you were mentioning before, the speakers. There are lots of people saying that they could be the speaker for every language. So maybe we could add a new category of volunteer worker. If we have the LA, we can have the, what can we call it? Like V, the voice, official voice, OV of the matches. We can think about it. So another question. For Tasos, you already talked about it during a Twitch live. Play creatively. The team that dominates specs does not have any tangible advantage when playing it. Will that change soon?
Again, I think we won't gonna touch individual tactics in the near future, but I would like to have a tactic overhaul change in some time. Give more reasons to choose a tactic, and maybe more clear up and downs, pros and cons for each of them. I really like the idea of trade-offs. If you get something, you lose something. And if we do that in a nice way, yeah, tactics can be really nice feature again. But I don't think we are going to change play creatively just by that individually.
Another one, maybe for Johan. Does Hattrick planning to implement AI? Do you think? In what direction?
Yeah, I think there's some movement there. I mean, we're talking about very specific applications of AI, but we're trying. We have a product where we're trying it out for I don't know. Should we say this, Tasos? Maybe we should say something about it.
As long as we make it clear that we are experiment and nothing is definitely gonna see the lights. But
right.
I'm happy to share.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the reasons why we are revamping the league events, the series events, is that we wanted to try doing a dynamic newsletter, AI based, for each individual series, and the league events that we had were a bit nonsense. So we started thinking about that using the events that we had. Then we realized that this needed to be improved anyway, so we started making new events. But with this kind of events, and maybe more in the future, they become like a guiding rail for the AI. It makes it easier for it to create a story that makes sense. So we can start experimenting with this. That's one thing that you could use AI for. Another thing, there was a really nice example on the forum this week about someone who built a little app for ChatGPT. So it would help you create a logo for your team based on, you answer some questions about your team and the theme that you want on your logo and the shape of the logo that you would like and the colors and so on. And we just tried it. I saw some examples and we even tried it ourselves, and it was pretty impressive results. So, I mean, that is also something that would make a lot of sense. Like, imagine you go into Hattrick and then you just, interact with a logo builder bot, and you get like a super nice logo based on that, and you can save it and use it in Hattrick. So there's a pretty long list of stuff that could be done in Hattrick, I think, with AI. And yeah, I think you agree, Tasos, don't you?
Yeah, I think we are a text game, so it makes a lot of sense to implement AI. But because there was a discussion a couple of seasons ago that the users got afraid what will happen if we use AI. It's not about this comment, but what I'm saying, I don't think we will try to implement AI on management decisions, like giving the lineup for you. It will be more about the text itself and images and stuff like that. Users will always have the first decision, on what the matches will be. But yeah, I think we have a lot of cases of what we can do.
I don't know if LA Alpha will agree to implement AI. because the match engine will backfire against its creators and dominate the world. I don't know.
I mean, you know, I prefer to be dominated by the Hattrick AI than by Elon Musk or Facebook AI, but that's just me personally. It's going to be one AI or the other, right? It's going to dominate the world. So,
yeah, true. Okay, this one has been asked before, but I'll leave it here. Do you think you will create a new Hattrick Anniversary League tournament to celebrate the 30 years of the game?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
Could happen. I really don't think that far ahead. But when will it be? In 2027. Okay. Yeah.
That's 4 years away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we still don't know. Another one, question for Johan. It may be an idea to play promotion relegation in 2 matches, home and away. What do you think about that? I think Tasos could also talk about it.
I think one problem is the timing. Like we need the preseason for other stuff as well. We don't want to delay that. And do you want to play, you know, one day after the other? I don't think you want to do that either. So I don't see it's as that important.
Okay. And this one, suggesting an under 23 or under 25 national team, because from 22 to 28, 29, they will not play for the national team. That's true. I have to say that's true. We don't see any 22, 28-year-olds players in big national teams.
That's funny because we raised the limit of under 23 like a year or 2 ago. So it was even worse. I think they have like a really great balance, but yeah, maybe we can raise it or create something between.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of national team competitions already, so I think I think maybe it's enough. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. Maybe there could be like a special quick cup or something. I don't know. That's interesting.
Another one, any chance to increase the money prize for the top scorer in the league? Because sometimes the amount they win is so low that it barely covers 1 week of salary. It should be higher in a higher league and an incentive to try to score more goals. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, there's quite a lot of, you know, around the prize money and so on that maybe doesn't make so much sense in terms of like, you know, how the money is balanced. But like the problem with the goal scorer is that it's a little bit random also who gets the goals. So maybe it should not be too much money, but it could be more than it is now. Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem increasing it a little bit, but I don't think it should be too much money either. For that reason.
And why historical standings in the series statistics do not keep track of teams that have left Hattrick? At least in top leagues, it would be amazing to keep track of it, to have more complete historical standings. Okay, first of all, why?
Tasos, I think this is a good one for you to talk about.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is a technical problem. Like there's a technical reason behind all that. There have been like a bad decision in early days of Hattrick that we reuse the team IDs. So when a user stopped playing the game, we use the same team ID for another user. So this history transfers to that one. So if we don't have the functionality right now to freeze that, so if we keep the team in the historical standing, it will be with another name. So I think we do some improvements there soon. So we might fix that as well.
Yep.
Okay. Another one. Hi, I'm playing Hattrick since 2006. Do you have any plan to add in-game strategy decisions, I guess, during the game? Do I understand correctly?
Yep. Yeah, this has been up in previous streams, I think. And we had it in the Mythbuster, right? As one question. I think it was not that popular, if I remember correctly. The idea of allowing managers to make decisions during the match. The only thing we ever considered would be to do that in the halftime, and only if both coaches agreed, and probably only in like tournaments or Hattrick Arena matches, or maybe like maybe in Masters, but only if both agreed. But so like in that but the question was put in a way that it could be interpreted in lots of ways, and it's not a popular idea at all among Hattrick users, because of course a key value in Hattrick is that you don't have to be online all the time. So from that perspective, we would not do it. Like we would never do it as a part of the regular game. I still think it might be cool to try it for tournaments that you customize yourself, you create yourself, and you just want to offer that to that tournament. So yeah, that's the answer.
Okay. A question, I guess, I don't know if it's for us, but because maybe it was for everyone, but I think it was for us. How are your teams doing in the cup? Are you watching the matches?
Yeah, my main team is playing is focusing on the secondary cups this season, let's say. So I'm gonna go there.
What's your Tasos? Did you win the first?
No.
Oh
no, I didn't. I mentioned that in the previous tweets, and I'm really ashamed because I said that I'm gonna restart. I start going in the transfer market, trying to buy players, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna do it on the next tweets, but I never did that. So I need that mentor. Those that we are gonna vote, please vote for me.
Perfect.
Maybe I will vote for you as well. Yep.
And a really nice question, for my opinion, is to sell match shirts, like to earn money with that, I guess, in game.
Yeah.
What do you think about this kind of stuff? Like, it's similar, I guess, to like setting the price for the tickets in the match. I think it was suggested before, and I don't know if it was in the previous stream or the one before. So maybe we could.
I mean, if it adds anything to the game, like if there's some kind of like interesting decision, then I think it's it could work just as well as a lot of other things, decisions that you could make around the club. But if it was only, I mean, the risk is that it just becomes like some kind of micromanagement, like, you just have to, this is the setting you need to do, and then everyone does that. And then, I mean, it can't be a feature like that. So I think it needs to be considered along with all the other economy in the game. And I think we have more important stuff to fix, like revamping updating the sponsor system to make that work better, since it's a bigger system, and then adding new things.
Okay.
What do you say, Tasos? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we already have that, so it's called the Hattrick Arena.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. I mean, if you have any plan to create custom leagues with friends, that would be Hattrick Arena, right? And we can create tournaments. I don't know if it would be like, you can have cups, you can have many different kinds of tournaments. So I don't know if it's what Mega Drive 82 means, but Hattrick Arena is there, and we just released it last week. So do you have any question that you want to highlight or something? Because I'm trying to keep track of everything while I'm listening to you, and it's kind of hard, and I'm missing the last questions. So if you see any that...
There was one that posted 2 or 3 times. I think it was the same user, but it doesn't matter. It was about bringing the achievement of collecting the flags to the main category. And I just want to mention that we cannot do that because it's a supporter feature. And we want to keep it fair, that if you want to collect the points, it doesn't have to be a paid feature for that. So I don't think we will ever move that. That's why we have a different category called supporter achievements, that you get it there.
Okay. What about this? Are there any possibilities to see statistics like caps and goals per season on a player's page?
Yeah, of course it's possible.
We do have something like that. I mean, both caps and goals. Okay, per season, because we have only the lifetime and the current season. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but there is performance issues involved there. So it's that's why it hasn't happened.
There's another question. It has also been asked other times, but no problem to reply it again. So, like in real football, will there be 5 substitutions instead of 3?
We didn't have a corona pandemic in Hattrick yet, so we stick to 3 for the time being.
I think it's nice as a manager perspective to be able to add 5 changes, but then the other clubs will be able to do that, and then it's when maybe it's not that good idea. And I've seen many people having many different opinions on that, so we'll leave it here, and everyone can have their own opinions. And this one has been asked as well, and even mentioned in the myth-busting survey. So Tasos, if you want to reply to this, what do you think of a hat trick with minimum 2 double speed for retaining more players and to gain more new players?
I think if we consider that, it should not be about gaining more new players, because if we really believe that there is outside a potential group that we can reach and they love this long-term slow game, we don't need to change the way that Hattrick has been 27, 28 years now to retain more users. But what we can do is, and we do that, is to give the option to those that they want to and play more games in Arena. So if they want a faster game, they can do it there.
Okay, I've highlighted a new one. Is there any plan to add a preparation feature? You can select what kind of tactic or formation your opponent is going to use, and if you guess right, you receive some kind of advantage. If you guess wrong, you receive a disadvantage. Could create more chances for managers to influence the games and control their own destiny. I don't think I've ever read this kind of suggestion, so it sounds quite new to me. Do you have any thoughts?
What do you say, Tasos?
Yeah, I think it's also the first time that I read it. I say that if you are so good on guessing the formation or the tactic that the opponent will play, then counter that, and that's your advantage. You don't need to get an extra advantage for that. But if we ever do that, I would really love to have it as a commander event, something that will not give you an advantage, something that will just be for fun. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I kind of like it. I'm just wondering if there's like a risk that we get more of these, you know, kind of pick deal kinds of conversations where, I mean, like the advantage it has to be relative, you know. So like if both guess right, then there's no difference. I mean, we talked at some point about that it could be good to move some of the random out from the actual match and put it before the match so that you had a chance to react to it. And maybe that, you know, in that context, it would be quite nice to have more decisions before the game. Yeah, I think it has some merit.
And the same user said that probably is asking the question because he's playing the Basketball Manager game Buzzer Beater, and the idea came from the. So it's an existing feature in the.
Yeah, I know that game well. Since we were but we were involved in starting it a long time ago. It was a Hattrick user that started it. So, but
okay,
I didn't know about this feature. Yeah.
We have a very good question. It's like more like kind of an interview in this case. What are your overall thoughts of the Hattrick Anniversary League? And what about the traders leading there, even with the limitations?
I think it's pretty cool that, yeah, I think it was a great project. You see still a lot of people playing it. So I think it's, you know, a success. I really am happy we did it. That's my overall thoughts. And that traders are leading, I think it's not a big surprise. Maybe the correct response would be to launch a league where traders have less impact. Maybe that is something that we like a lesson that we could draw from this. But I mean,
as always, Papa Mish brings a little bit of wiseness to, you know, I guess it's with the guessing the formation. It would be fun, but some managers will start in a weird, unusual formation and switch after 1 minute. So now we have a reply now. Thank you, Papa Mish, community hero. And let's see more questions like this one. It's been raised in the forum, if I'm right, the possibility to train a specialty. Like one season with no other training so that you get a specialty. Whoa, that's a lot. But anyway, have you ever considered that, guys?
Yeah, I think I already said earlier on the stream that that's something that we have talked about loosely. So I think it's you know, it's a possibility, but nothing concrete.
Okay, what else? This question, technical question: do League Cup games run on the same match engine as Hattrick Arena games? First question about Hattrick Arena in a while. So,
what do you say, Tasos?
Well, technically it's the same code. It's like a different server, you can say that. So that's why sometimes we see a bug in one case and then not the same bug on the other case. But they share exactly the same code, yeah.
Okay. Lots of very interesting questions. Let's see. This one, I find it really creative. Again, related to specialties. For example, new specialties like Acrobat, who can score wonder goals from bad crosses, or Glamour, that's my favorite one, the player who possesses natural beauty, and attracts social media attention and sponsors benefits. That would be the first specialty bringing no in-game, no match and advantages. So, just like that, out of the blue, what do you guys think?
the acrobat is a little bit like creative, isn't it? I mean, like, or unpredictable, maybe. The more specialities you add, the more they kind of tend to merge or like float together. The glamour one is much more specific, and there was some ideas of something called like an icon system where you would build up fame and have it like, you know, be able to build around players strategically in a club. So that would fit very well into that idea. But like, you know, imagine that you have a player that is very, you know, the fans love and the sponsors love, and then you invest in that player by playing him a lot. But in the end, you know, he's not a good player anymore, but you still need to play him because you benefit in other ways for him. So it could be quite interesting dynamic because it becomes a trade-off in the end between their skills and other benefits. But yeah, there's like 100 problems probably also in adding a specialty like that. It's not something we're exactly thinking about.
And there are lots of questions about the Youth Academy. What can we say about that? About possible improvements in the future? Maybe Tasos?
Yeah, I think it mentioned in the previous tweets as well that, yeah, we have plans. There will be some kind of discussion soon about that, and we want to make youth academies more fun, and as they said, give some intensive to win matches, not only train.
Okay, so maybe I think that we could have one last comment, which I really liked, and I left it highlighted to bring the end of this stream. This was so great, a beautiful addition to the Hattrick universe. Thank you for this gala, and congrats to all the winners. So I think it's a good way to end the stream, to end this Hattrick Gala stream. So I want to say thank you also to all of you who have been watching, asking questions, and congratulating the winners. So thank you all. Of course, thank you, Johan and Tasos. Thanks all the winners. And let's probably see on the next stream pretty soon. We'll see each other, right?
Yes. Yes.
Cheers. With no ties.
Thank you.